And we are back to In the Game High School Sports Magazine. One really quick update. I just got a new update from Chris White, and it's not looking good over on the Columbus High campus. It is 7-3 Ringgold in the bottom of the fourth, or after the bottom of the fourth. So the Blue Devils are going to have to rally in the last 3 innings of that game if they're going to stay alive in the playoffs. So I just wanted to pass that along. But now we're going to totally switch gears. We're going to talk about a fall sport. We're going to talk about football a little bit. Everybody in the South loves football. But we've got a brand new high school football team here in Columbus that's been formed in the last few months, and we've got the head coach of that team, head coach and athletic director, right, Coach?
That is correct.
Coach Brian Osborne from Calvary Christian is with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about starting up a program over at Calvary and everything that's gone into it. First, congratulations on being selected as the first head coach and athletic director for Calvary Christian, and being the guy who's going to be able to write his signature on the football program over at Calvary. How's that feel?
Oh, it feels tremendous just to have that honor, and it's something that not many coaches get to say in their career, that they got to start a program from scratch, and it's something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. It's just been a tremendous season.
Absolutely. It is great to see that Calvary is able to start a football program, and just from the little bit that I've read about it, the original plan, correct me if I'm wrong, the original plan was to play 8-man.
That is correct. When I was hired back in late July last year, the first thought was we're going to start with 8-man football. We're going to try and just build a program for in the future to eventually get to 11, but the original plan was to start with 8-man football.
And there are rules in play with 8-man football. If you have a certain roster size, you have to move to 11-man. You have to stay below a ceiling. Is that right?
That is correct. You could not have any more than 24 players. And when we had our meetings, we were kind of close at the beginning of the year, so we kind of thought, okay, we're going to stay with 8-man football. But as the school year went on, we had a couple more meetings. In January, when it was getting close for us to make our decision, we had 28 boys show up to a meeting. And I went to our headmaster and I said, I'm sorry, but we can't cut people in football. We're not going to do that here. So we have enough for 11-man, and Mr. Mack, our headmaster, agreed with me, and we agreed to start with 11-man football.
Well, that's pretty cool. You get to start with 11-man, go right out of the gate with 11-man, and I know that you are going to be a member, and help me if I'm the Georgia Alabama Christian Schools Athletic Association. What is the G?
It's the ICSGA.
ICSGA, that's correct.
Independent Christian Schools of Georgia and Alabama.
And I'm familiar with them because they have played their basketball tournament at Columbus State the last few years in the Lumpkin Center, and a lot of good people that work that organization and work that basketball tournament. So tell me about that group. What is the talent level there? What are you going to be up against in your first season at Calvary?
I can honestly tell you I've never seen any of these schools play football before, so I don't know. I can't tell you what offense you can run, what defense, but it honestly doesn't matter to us. We just want to go out there and play football.
And tell me about the makeup of your team as far as the age range that you have at Calvary that are out for football this year.
We're going to have 9 through 12th graders, and we have 31 players out for spring right now. We have 10 seniors, we have 5 juniors, 11 sophomores, and 5 freshmen out there this year.
All right, so you got a pretty good spectrum of players, and you got a good leadership group with 10 seniors. Even though this is their first year to play football, it's still good to have 10 older guys who can be the leaders. And are you seeing good leadership out of those guys?
Oh, tremendous leadership. I mean, we've only been out there for 6 days now in the spring, but enthusiasm, they want to play football bad, and they've been wanting it their whole life. Can't tell you how many stories I've heard of. I've been dreaming about football at Calvary for so many years, and now there's opportunity, and they're loving it.
Good. Coach, how many of your players have actually played football? I mean, do they played another school or middle school or maybe a youth league?
I would say we have less than 10 have ever played football in their life, and only one has high school experience whatsoever. He was a freshman last year at Harris County and played for their JV team, but he's the only one with any high school experience. So everybody else is going to be really brand new to him out there.
So tell me about what kind of opportunity this gives you to really start from ground level fundamentals, just to mold these kids and teach them the correct way to play football.
That's the thing. We don't have any bad techniques to get them out of because they don't have any techniques. So, I mean, that's a great thing. So we get to really, it's what we've been starting out with, just the very basic fundamentals, what step to take, right step, proper placement of our head and shoulders on tackling. I mean, we're just starting with the true basics with them all because they really don't None of them know how to hold a football when they're running. So, I mean, we're really getting to teach all that. Our coaches are enjoying it, and it's been great out there with them.
How many coaches do you have helping you?
I have 7 assistant coaches, which is a whole lot for, I think, a high school football team in this area. When Calvary heard that, or when people heard that Calvary was going to have a football team, people have been coming to me left and right wanting to help out. And talked to a lot of people, and I picked 7 guys that I think that really know a lot about football. We have a lot of guys with a lot of experience, and that's going to be the right fit for our school.
That sounds great. It's great that you've got that much help helping you out there. That means your kids are going to get a lot of individual attention on the field. And when you're starting a program like this and starting from scratch with nobody really having any experience, the more people you can have out there helping with techniques, you can split into small groups and give each guy something small to work on. And once you get that perfected, move to something else. That's a pretty cool way to start.
Right. It's like on offense, I have one coach that works with guards and centers, one that works with just tackles, one that works with just tight ends, one with just quarterbacks. I mean, so they're really getting a lot of one-on-one work.
That's a good way to go. And I tell you, it's amazing that you don't have but one kid, maybe, as far as organized football, maybe 1 or 2 kids out of that whole group of 31 that have ever played the sport before. And you talk about starting from scratch. You are truly starting from scratch. And you made a great comment just a minute ago. They don't have any bad habits to get them out of, because that's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. I coached years ago at the high school level, and a lot of times when we got kids out of middle school football, or at the middle school level when we got them out of little league football or youth league football, they had bad habits that we had to get them out of. And coaching baseball now, a good bit, always there's something that you need to correct. And a lot of times that's so ingrained in a kid, it's hard to get rid of. But you're able to start pretty much with a clean slate and go from there and teach them the right technique from the get-go.
That's correct. And I'll give you just a little funny story. Our first day out there, we're just working on our stances. We're putting everybody through every drill, and we got to the offensive line. I said, okay, when I say down, put your hand down on the ground. When I say hut 1, I want you to go forward. Coach, and one of the players raised his hand and said, Coach, what does hut 1 mean? So, I mean, just a great story right there.
That's good stuff. You need to write those down when those happen, because I know you're going to have plenty of those, probably questions that are coming up. Why do you need to do this? What is that for? And all that kind of stuff. So especially when you start teaching the number system for the plays and all that kind of stuff, kids are going to be trying to figure that out, and they're going to question you on it. Believe me, they're going to question you on it. But you've probably seen several funny things. What's some of the more humorous things that you've seen so far?
Actually, first time one of our seniors, when he went through a running back drill, he had the nose of the football pointing straight up when he was running. He was like, Coach, I just never held a football before. I didn't know how to do it.
Carrying it like a loaf of bread. Right. Yeah. And anyway, I had experienced players that would do that, believe me. So that's not that unusual, even for guys who've picked up a football before. But tell me a little bit, without giving away too much. I doubt anybody that you're going to be playing against is listening to us right now. But what kind of offense are you leaning toward running? Are you going to be a basic run-oriented offense? Are you going to try to throw the ball a little bit, maybe right off the bat, and teach some of that? Or how are you going to approach this? Is it all going to be determined by what you see this spring from your personnel?
No, we're going to be running the wing T offense. Okay. I was an assistant coach at Brooks Nolan for 8 years, learning under Blair Harrison, who's a tremendous football coach. And they run the wing T over there. That's the offense we're going to be running at Calvary. Okay. So we're going to be running the ball most of the time and throwing a pass here and there when they're not looking for it.
Oh, yeah. You run the wing T, you can catch somebody by surprise by raising up and throwing one every now and then. You can lull the defense to sleep.
That's right.
What about your skill positions? What kind of players do you have as far as athletic ability goes? How much true athletic ability do you have out there right now?
We have most of our athletes play multiple sports at Calvary. We have just about all of our baseball players are coming out for spring football. We got a lot of guys on the basketball team and cross-country runners. So, I mean, we got guys that play multiple sports. Very, very few people at Calvary play just one sport.
Right. So is it how popular are you on campus now?
That's the thing. Every time I'm walking around, everybody's asking me, how's football going? How's football going? I walk by practice the other day. The guys look great out there, and it's tremendous. I mean, really.
Well, I was reading some of the stuff. One of the things I thought was the coolest, you get to be the guy who designs the team's uniforms. Okay, what are you going to look like when you come out there in the fall?
We're going to have a green uniform with white numbers with black trim, and it's going to have Knights on the front.
Okay. What's your helmet going to look like?
It's a green helmet with our Calvary logo, the Calvary C with the knight coming through. It's going to be on the side.
All right. that's going to be pretty good looking outfit there. Now, what about your road uniform? Are you going to have a white jersey, or
it's going to be white with a green number and a black outline?
Okay,
just the opposite.
Coach,
right.
I wanted to ask you about your experience at Brookstone. You said you were offensive or assistant or defensive coach?
I was assistant for 8 years. I was a defensive coordinator for 3 years. Coached tight ends and outside linebackers.
And you had some pretty good teams during those 8 years. I know y'all made it to the playoffs. I know Coach Harrison for 7 years in a row, I believe. And
right.
So what have you learned from Coach Harrison and that experience that you're going to be able to bring to this new program?
I learned that technique and just the little things matter in football. I can't tell you how many hours with him on the weekend watching film, watching the other team, trying to, for any way for Brookstone to have an advantage in their games. Because just like at Calvary, we're not going to have the biggest guys in the world, but if we can get the little things down and any advantage we can get, that's what's going to help win some football games.
Well, one thing I noticed about the wing tee, and I've watched a lot of Brookstone games through the last couple of years, is it's a very precise offense that relies on motion and movement and discipline. I mean, you can see that offense is like a well-oiled machine, and that is it's been a lot of running game. It's been very effective, and it's very impressive offense. So that's similar to what you're going to try to accomplish at Calvary?
That's correct. And it's not something that's going to happen in the first couple of months for us to perfect. It's going to take years, and it's going to take a lot of time and hard work to get all those good fakes down where everything's going to happen. I mean, I want to go out and win a championship in the first year, but I know that's probably not going to be realistic. But we're going to start building this year for the future.
Coach, can you give us a couple of names of maybe some kids that have really stood out so far, maybe a couple of seniors or some bigger kids that you are expecting to play well?
Sure. One is Stephen Thomas. He's going to be an upcoming senior. Right now, he's probably going to be our starting fullback and possible linebacker. He's about a 6'1", 195-pound kid. He's a star baseball player and basketball player. He's all-region in soccer and baseball this year, so he's one of the better athletes at Calvary. We also have Adam Nance, who's going to be a senior lineman for us. He has been one of the most enthusiastic guys I've seen about football. Since spring started, he's been in my office probably more than anybody, just wanting to talk football. And he's putting everything he's got into it.
Sounds like a future coach, man.
I know. I think he's going to be one possibly one day. And then another one is Joseph Webb. He's kind of a kid it's kind of hard to put him in one spot. I think he can be on the offensive line. He can be in the backfield. I mean, he's a player that we can put wherever we want to, and he's smart. What I've learned in the last week and a half so far. He's picking up things real quick, so I think he'll be able to play multiple positions for us.
Have you found one player on the team that has kind of that instinct or that nose that can knock the doo-doo out of you?
Not yet, because we actually haven't gotten into full contact yet, so we're really kind of trying to ease people in. Like the first couple of days, we were just in T-shirt and shorts, and then we put helmets on because we were just trying to evaluate everybody. Because I didn't want to sit there and say, you're a lineman, you're a quarterback, you're a receiver. I wanted everybody to do the quarterback drills, everybody did the receiver drills, because I wanted everybody to have a chance to play a position.
When are you going to go full pads and full contact?
We will not go full pads until August. Full contact that way. Okay. We're going to be just helmets and shoulder pads throughout spring.
So your whole spring will be basically skeleton work and just learning the fundamentals.
Right. We got to get technique down first.
Yeah, and then then you start knocking heads a little bit in August.
That's right.
Yeah. I tell you, one thing you're going to have to teach the kids is the difference between injured and sore when they start hitting, because a lot of them never experienced this before, and they're going to be hurting after they get some contact, and they're going to think they're injured, but they're really only sore. So that's a lesson you're going to have to teach as well. You may have to have a classroom session on that and teach them the difference between injured and sore. But it is awesome that Calvary is able to do this. And how did it feel when you got the phone call saying you'd been the guy selected to be the first football coach at Calvary?
I mean, honestly, I was first of all shocked because it's an opportunity that I've been working for, but you just never know it's going to happen until it does. But when Mr. Mack called me and offered me the job, I was just floored, and I immediately said I accept, and I can't wait to be able to start this program for you. Because at Calvary, we're going to be able to offer something that no other school in this community can. Mm-hmm. That's a Christian school that gets to play high school football.